when you were born, you were not made like this, isn't it? You were so small. Now this much happened, how? So what you call as my body is an accumulation, yes?
Is an accumulation?
It's an accumulation. It's just a piece of planet that you accumulate through the food that you eat. What you call as my mind is a heap of impressions which you also accumulate over a period of time. So your body is an accumulation, your mind is an accumulation. What you accumulate, at the most you can claim it's yours, but you cannot say it's me, isn't it? What you accumulate cannot be you, isn't it? So you gathered your body, you gathered the whole volume of your mind, so what the hell are you? Never been looked at, isn't it? You're making assumptions. So your personality, your ideologies, everything picked up, everything accumulated.
Now, when you say that whatever a mind is accumulated, my body is accumulated, that is not me. It is like saying that as long as you can peel the onion, you are not finding the onion. These skins are the onion. This accumulation is me. If you eradicate this accumulation, I don't exist.
Your thought. Your thought is essentially coming from the information that is already there in your mind, the data that is there in your mind. It's complex, but it is within the limited data that you have. How did you gather this data? This data you gathered through the agencies of five senses, by seeing, by hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. This is the way it's gone into you. These are the five instruments which are taking in all the data in your wakefulness and sleep. These five senses are not reliable. In the sense, if I touch this table, my hand will tell me it's cool. But if I lower my body temperature and touch it, my hand will tell me it's warm. So it doesn't say anything about that. It only tells me the information that is necessary for my survival. If survival is all you're seeking, these five senses are okay. But if you're seeking something beyond survival, you need to expand the dimension of your perception.
First of all, let's not… the first thing a spiritualist will do, will try to shake your confidence in these five senses that you have. Only then he can control you. Now, if you think that you will believe on any other thing, then take a person, do an operation on him, disconnect him with his brain, and then let us see how he expands his personality. Whatever expansion happens, happens in your mind. And you cannot undermine it. And whoever suggests that that is to be undermined is playing a very dangerous game with you. Because then you will not have any discretion. How will you decide whether whatever he's saying is right or wrong? And whatever he's saying, he's using his brain. He doesn't want you to use your brain. From where this thought has come? Has it come from where it has come? It has come from the mind. Even if you think that the mind is not everything, that too has come from the mind. If you don't trust mind, how do you trust this thought?
If you understand that after all you and me are mortal, whatever we may do, when you understand you're mortal, naturally the question of what is beyond, where did I come from, where will I go, this is naturally in the purview of human intellect. See, if you are not given ready-made answers by somebody, it is very, very natural that every human intellect will inquire, where did I come from, where will I go, what is the nature of my existence?
Why we are in this universe? What are we doing here? Why have we come here? I don't want to comment about anybody else's presence, but Guruji, I know why I'm in this universe, and the reason is unprintable.
And the reason is?
Unprintable.
Unprintable.
It is a pompous question that why I am in this universe. It is a pompous question what I am doing here. Have you ever thought of a mosquito? Why this mosquito is here in this world? Why this cockroach is here? There is, as far as life quality is concerned, there is no difference between a rodent and a human being, between a mosquito and a human being. The only difference is the mind. And this is the difference they want to eradicate.
If I tell somebody, don't smoke, don't do this, don't do that, they will not do that. They'll anyway continue to do it, or other kinds of compulsions will take them over. But if you teach them a method through which they're able to manage the chemistry of who they are. Today there is substantial medical and scientific evidence, it is no more belief system. There is substantial scientific and medical evidence. Today, research has gone into the University of California, has done an enormous research on the simple Shambhavi Mahamudra, the basic practice that we teach. 3 months of practice, the neuronal rejuvenation in your brain is 241% more than the average, okay? There are any number of things like this. Now, the chemical soup that you are, you can either make it very blissful or miserable. So if you are blissful by your own nature, then all the compulsiveness will naturally drop.
I really find it highly amusing. It's very interesting that it is in religion, it is in spirituality. The moment they find something in science which is compatible, they start respecting science. They say, look, now even the science has accepted it. But the moment science is opposing them, then it is not credible at all. As he said very rightly, and I totally agree with him, that you should be humble enough to accept that there are many things that you don't know, and only then you will search. What is wrong with religions? That they know everything. They can tell you how to make a universe in 4 easy lessons. They will tell you where you were before you were born, and where will you go after your death, and so on. So they have all the answers. That is the problem. And what is the difference between faith and belief? I believe I am in Goa. I believe there is a place called North Pole. I believe that Ethiopia is a poor country. I believe that Germany is a rich country. Is it my faith? Why it is not my faith? I'll tell you why it is not my faith and why it is my belief, because it is reasonable. Anything, any belief which is devoid of logic, reason, rational, evidence, witness, that is faith. Anything which is devoid of all the logic, all the reason, all the ration, all the witness, all the evidence, that is faith. And I really wondered what is the difference between faith and stupidity, because stupidity has the same definition. I am willing to accept belief, but it has to have some rationale, some reason. If you don't have any, you disarm me from reason, logic.
I just wanted to come back, Lalit Sahab, to this whole issue of the finiteness of reason. You know, we just saw Ramanujan, for instance. He was intuitive. He didn't know how he arrived at that math, but he arrived at it. I have absolutely no argument with the fact that reason is the highest condition of man as we understand it. But is there not space for something beyond our empirical understanding?
Of course there is. But there is no halo around it. There is nothing like spiritual about it. When you look at the fan, and if the fan is running on full speed, you can't see the blades. It doesn't mean there are no blades. You know, when you think very quickly, you may not see the reason, but when you will sit back and analyze it, if the conclusion is right, then there is a logical step behind it. You have not seen it at that moment, because your conscious mind is not the only mind. You have many parts of the mind. You lose a key, and you try to remember, you can't, and then you're talking to somebody else, and suddenly you remember where you have kept the key, because a part of your brain was working on it. So brain is a very complicated machine. Mind is the most sophisticated computer in this universe at the moment. So you have to understand the functioning. If Ramanujam understood it, he understood it in a language which he knew. Why he did not understand in Chinese or Hebrew? That is not possible. Ultimately, what will come from your mind. You are nothing but your mind. And if that is eradicated, you don't exist.
But Ramanujan actually believed that the goddess was giving him that intuition. How do you reconcile that? Would you say that he was somebody...
I mean, after all, he was a human being, so what? He couldn't be right all the time.
Sadhguru, before I come back to you, Javed Sahib, another function of faith is, in its refined form, not as religion, not as public religion, but as faith, can sometimes be the impulse for also the most noble of human endeavor, whether it's in art.
There is no doubt about it. The faith can make you do wonderful things, and the worst thing possible. These suicide bombers are people of faith. If they would have been reasonable, they wouldn't have done that.
But equally, Javed Sahib.
So, faith is a blind power. Faith paralyzes your mind. And now you are capable of doing something exceptionally good and something exceptionally bad, but you are out of control. You can go either way.
What about the ultra-rationalists, the communists, the Stalinist regimes?
No, they are not rationalists. They are communists. They have faith. They believe in communism. I am not only against religion or spiritualism, which is the debris of religion. I am against faith. If communism is your faith, then you are as bad as a religious person.
That's well put, sir. So what do you live with then? If you don't live with a belief system, what do you live with? You're talking of extremities, but
how about common sense? Will it do?